All right. How's it going, everybody? Welcome back again to Hotline Sehwani. Back with another voice actor bringing you to the new series. We did Eggman from Sonic, and now we got Bowser from Mario.
Hey.
Go introduce yourself, Kenny.
That's me, Kenny James.
That's you.
Nintendo's voice of Bowser.
Absolutely. I
They
thought it was so...
They won't let me say official voice of Bowser.
Really?
Yeah, they told me not to. So. And hopefully they don't get mad at me for saying that.
No worries. And if I was laughing. I was laughing before this because, you know, I was talking to some of the people that helped me do the videos and everything, and I was like, isn't it so funny that it's like a struggle? It's like I was reaching out to, you know, Mario and some of the voices through Sonic, and I was like, the guys that were super willing are the villains of the game.
Yeah.
So I was that was just pretty funny.
Was it Mike that you just talked to?
Yeah, I spoke with Mike Pollock about last week ago.
We've only had one meeting. It was at my very first convention in Philadelphia.
Yeah.
And I did a couple panels with him, and he's nuts.
Oh, he's such a great. He's so funny though. He's such a nice guy.
He is though, but he's freaking nuts.
Yeah.
I had a good time. It was a good introduction to doing panels because I had never done panels before. So being on a panel with Mike, and then I did a panel with Charles and Mike. So yeah, it was an interesting weekend.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Sorry, I just almost knocked my shotgun over.
No worries.
Shotgun microphone.
No boy.
Not shotgun.
Okay, just to clarify.
This is Texas, but no, it's not a shotgun.
So, which part of Texas are you from?
We live in the Dallas area.
Oh, nice, awesome. So we
in the burbs.
In the burbs. So tell us a little bit about, you know, yourself. I know you took on the role of Bowser back in like 2005, right?
Yeah, I think
Strikers.
Yeah, I think Strikers released in 2005. I think I recorded for it in 2004. But
okay,
that's the way I remember it, and that's not necessarily canon.
Yeah.
But I think it's accurate. So
yeah,
because as I remember it released kind of early in 2005, so I would have recorded in 2004.
Well, one of the things that I thought was kind of funny, because looking into it, you know, I think a lot of people, you know, are under the impression that the Bowser, the clips and everything that they hear is almost kind of, you know, computer and everything. So I was kind of surprised hearing that, because I was talking to people like, oh, I got the voice of Bowser, you know, come over in, and they're like, he has a voice? I was like,
you know.
So do you find that a lot? Or?
I get that quite a bit, yeah. And yeah, I get people coming up to the table that are all like, wow, I didn't even know it was a human, you know, voice.
Yeah,
like,
doing it, yeah.
For the most part, yeah. You know, I mean, it wasn't until Scott Burns, I think. And then he had a few games, and then they recast and they cast me, and it's been a little over 15 and a half years now. So,
yeah.
Somewhere around there. Mm-hmm. But, yeah, people are still really? There's a real voice guy? I should go and see what he looks like.
And I found that kind of interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I found that kind of interesting. I was speaking with I was kind of messaging back and forth the lady who does Daisy, and Peach, and I thought it was very surprising. A lot of, you know, I would say like you and them too. They go kind of under the radar with Nintendo.
Yeah,
so I was kind of surprised, and then so I'm happy, you know, to have you here. So let's kind of take it back to, you know, going in and being casted. So like, how did that happen? You know, how did that get kicked off for you?
You know, I had started, I don't know, kind of half working on trying to do voice work. Got started at that actually pretty late. I think I was 37 or 38, and I built myself a website, and I had gone to a voiceover course at the University of Washington. They have experimental campus, and one of the classes was voice acting for commercials, I think is what it was. And it was a guy named Nigel Lloyd Neal. He was a pretty prolific commercial actor, and he was running this class, and then he was producing demos if you wanted to have a demo done. So I did really well in the class. So I thought, well, this is a piece of cake.
Yeah.
You know? I'm gonna build a website. And you know, this is the days of, you know, using Coffee Cup 9 and having to type out a bunch of HTML yourself, even if you don't know what you're doing. And so I got a demo made by the guy, and I was able to put it on this website. You know, I was pressing CDs, and you know, I was gonna be ready to send them out. You know, this is gonna be like that. No. So I was talking about it with a coworker of mine at a job we were working on, and at the lady's house. The lady, she said, "Oh, you do voices?" And I said, "Yeah, I hear them all the time, you know."
Yeah.
And but she said, "Well, do you have a demo?" And luckily, I already had one, so I gave her the address. She listened to it. She passed on the information over to the production manager at Bad Animals in Seattle, and that's where Nintendo of America, it was the studio they were using. And she started sending me auditions, and I auditioned for some other video games. I auditioned for Sly Cooper 3, like 5 different characters on that game, and I didn't get any of them. And I was like, well, I stink, so you know, this isn't going to work out. And you know, don't quit your day job. And then I got the audition for Bowser, and I thought, well, that's ridiculous. And the materials that they sent me were the script was the lines from Sunshine, and the reference tracks that they sent me were Scott Burns's recordings, just raw audio from the studio. So I had his outtakes and a bunch of other stuff in there. But so because of that, and they didn't say they didn't want a voice match, I did the best voice match that I could do. And so I sounded, to me, just like Scott Burns doing Super Mario Sunshine. And it took 2 or 3 weeks, and I got an email that said, "You got the gig." And I was like, what, huh? So, you know, I had no idea how to act. You know, I had plenty of time being on stage in front of people. So, and I had also, at that point, had already been in recording studio doing music stuff, so singing and stuff. So
Sure.
The studio didn't scare me. It was voice acting that scared me, because I'm like, now I felt like I was pretending that I know what I'm doing.
Sure.
So, you know, they brought me in, and they didn't want me to sound anything like Scott, and
they're like, yeah, we don't want that.
They didn't say that, you know, they never come out and just said that. They just were like, "No, you're not going to be talking." And I was like, "Oh, okay."
They're like, we're going with something a little bit different.
Yeah. So now, you know, conveying, you know, 15 years of conveying emotions of somebody who doesn't talk.
So look, what is that like? That was my next question on the what's almost the direction given? Like, do they tell you like, hey, this is what we're looking for, or is it just this is what we kind of want to sound like? Like, so how does that go?
Yeah, because the scripts are basically just descriptions of actions or reactions, you know, because he doesn't have words.
Sure.
And so a lot of what the director does, though, is they know the game, what's already been done and everything. So they can look at the script and be all like, all right, this is going to be okay, so this just happened, and now this is happening, and so I need you to do this. And I'd be okay, and you come up with it. You know, one of the most challenging ones was Meowser in 3D World. So
yeah, I remember that,
because I had no idea, you know, that, and neither did that.
You were Bowser, but you were also now a cat. Go.
yeah. So I turned the page on the script, and in quotes it said Meowser, and I said, "That's hilarious. Why?" You know, and so they explained the power up, and I said, "What do you want him to sound like?" And they said, "We don't know." I was okay. So here now I'm really on the spot. So
yeah,
you know,
so that's kind of where you have to, you know, where they're kind of relying on you almost. They're like, well,
sure, yeah. I mean, that's the job, you know. I have to do that a lot on the fly now with doing anime dubs. You know, it's like, okay, I can hear the Japanese voice. All right, so you want something along those lines, but you still have to come up with stuff just on the spot. It's like, what do you want this guy to sound like? And just like a guy.
Oh,
nice. Just sound like a guy. Okay.
I could do that.
That was
and then you read the lines and you're like, well, not that kind of a guy, you know?
Yeah, that was one of the first directions I got. I think it was on Legend of the Galactic Heroes. And I was like, so what is this guy, what did you have in mind, you know, for him to sound like? I don't know, just like a guy. And I was like, all right, well, so basically that character, Marinesque, hopefully they'll dub season 3. He has a lot more to do in season 3 than he did in season 2. So, but yeah, basically the dub, he sounds like me. So,
oh, wow.
Yeah.
So he's like reading it up.
Yeah.
So that's so crazy. I spoke with, another voice actor on the last episode, Wally Winger, and he does the Riddler in Batman games, and he also does some anime. And he was telling me how he felt anime was very almost very constricted because you have to match like the mouth flaps and and everything. So it's kind of funny to see that you're in anime where it's kind of restrictive on its own, and then you're also dialoguing for a character that doesn't talk. So I'm sure there's some
the anime thing is really weird because generally with animation the voices come first and then the animation is done to match. And instead we've got stuff that's already done, and a lot of the pressure is taken off by writing though. So the adaptive script writers are very good at taking the Japanese translation, which oftentimes is a little for Western world. It doesn't quite work. So they westernize it, and they write lines that are should be hopefully the right length to match the length of the line that was in Japanese. And then the flaps, I mean, you can't match them 100%, but start and finish, and little pauses. You don't want to be talking when the character paused for a second. You don't want to be talking through that. So it's challenging. It really is, but it's fun. They
said the other person I spoke with, they were telling me how his favorite moments when dubbing anime was when the mouth wasn't seen. And there's like a part of the script.
Scene.
Yeah.
MNS.
MNS, right? So he said those are the 3 letters that every dubber loves to see. So, So tell me
off camera, off camera
scene,
and
it works out nice.
Yep. Yeah, because then you don't have to worry about it.
That's hysterical. So go from I know you were mentioning that this all kind of kicked off for you you built your website. And you just submit some reels, and then the rest was kind of history. So was this something that you've always wanted to get into, or was it something you just wanted to give a shot and see where it went? Or
probably along the lines of the first part of that. It was I've always been kind of a performer, at least in my head. I was one of those kids in school that always got in trouble for screwing around or doing voices or making faces or whatever. So always wanted to be doing something along the entertainment lines. I got out of the Navy and I started looking to do something musical. So I was always kind of leaning toward drums. So I bought a drum kit and used to play in a spare room in the house. And it drove my first wife up a tree, at least part of the way up the tree. And one day we were getting ready to go somewhere, and I had CD in, or MTV was on or something back in the golden age, in the mid 80s.
MTV played music.
Mid to late 80s when MTV played videos. But I was singing along with something, and she just turned around and she goes, you sing better than you play drums. And I think there was 2 reasons that she said that. One was to get rid of the drums, and the other was because it was pretty much true. I'm definitely a better singer than I am drummer, but so from then I started looking for bands that wanted somebody to sing, and started getting hooked up with bands, and then writing originals and recorded an album, but it fell apart because the producer went flaky on us and sold his studio, and it never really got finished. And then the band broke up, and all that shit. And then I started working in live theater. I didn't start auditioning for live theater until I was 40. So, and then I did 20 something. I was involved in 20 something shows in 10 years. So I've got a lot of stage time and some pretty big parts.
Oh wow! So you had a lot of live theater experience, before getting into voice acting.
Yeah, and that's one of my things that I get asked about a lot. One of the standard questions at a panel or at the table is, I am interested in voice acting too. How can I be a voice actor?
Yeah, act.
So yeah, exactly. That's what I tell people. Like, if you wanna be a voice actor, first be an actor.
Yeah. Everyone I've asked so far, because I feel like that's a standard question people ask, and they want to know, well, what do I do? And everyone's like, what is it called? Voice acting,
Yeah.
So.
And I tell you, I find it more intimidating and sometimes more difficult to stand in the room behind a microphone than it is to get up on stage and do a live play or a live musical.
Sure. You have to use a lot of your imagination, behind it, and setting it up.
You feel like a complete idiot sometimes, because you're screwing your face up, or you're actually moving around like some kind of wackadoo.
Or you're a dinosaur trying to make cat noises.
It's a bizarre thing. I tell people, I'm just a regular guy that has an interesting job.
Yeah, that's awesome.
But other than that, I'm just a regular dude.
I feel like, one of the things that kind of interests me a lot is it's so clear that a lot of people kind of have that, mentality of like, oh, I just need to read these lines and kind of go in with it. And there's a lot behind it that people don't realize. And that's kind of one of the things when I wanted to kind of kick off the series. And, you could definitely see that as like a trend in a lot of, animated movies where they'll get like some A-list star to come in and they're like, oh, well, this movie has so-and-so. And they just sound so like off-putting reading the character lines, or they're just doing themselves because they don't know what else to do. So
that reminds me of Patrick Warburton talking about himself on one of those Vanity Fair, videos on YouTube that, where they're doing either original voices on the fly, or they're watching other people do impersonations of one of their characters, and Patrick Warburton's all like, yeah, I pretty much always sound like this. And it's like, yeah, he does. I mean, you listen to his character Kronk and Joe Swanson. I mean, they sound almost identical.
Yeah.
But that's because it's Patrick. So I missed a chance to meet him at a show one time. I regret that, but I'll probably get another chance. So hopefully.
Definitely.
He was right down the row of tables from me, man. But I just never,
you never made your way over.
Never bumped into him in the green room. Well.
One day.
Yeah, no, where the con scene will come back. Yeah, it'll come back. I just booked a 2-day show in Tennessee. It'll be the first thing I've gone to since the end of February.
Oh wow!
So yeah,
that must be nice, to get out and finally kind of engage with fans again. And
it's all gonna be masks and hand sanitizers, but it's I'm not really as worried about it as I was. People are much better at keeping their masks on now, and
sure,
and it's just getting to be a normal thing. It's like, oh, got my keys, got my wallet, where's my mask?
Yeah, it's over here. That's how I was saying, it must be nice to kind of get, because there's a lot of like voice actors and comedians too, and like they're just dying to get out, and that there's like a connection that they miss with a lot of the fans and talking and going back and forth. And it's just one of those things where when it comes down to getting out and everything. My biggest thing is always, I tell everybody, I'm like, you just got to be smart with it. If you're going to a convention, like, be smart with it. If I see people sometimes like by themselves in their car, I'm just like, I think it's one of those things where it really boils down. Be smart with it, and things will be okay.
I mean, we gotta start at least getting back to normal sometime. I mean, you can't stay in the house forever.
Yeah. So jumping back to a little bit about, you know, you and Bowser and some of the voices that you've kind of built out for him over the last 15 years, right?
Yeah.
So kind of, what was there any, like, I know you said Scott Burns was the reference that they gave you to kind of shape your Bowser, right? So like, what was some of your own inspirations that you pulled into it? And then how do you feel like it's changed, you know, throughout the years? Like, did you, it's like, hey, I think this would be neat to kind of tweak it this way, or like,
it really, it kind of has. It has changed. Because, you know, when I went in there originally thinking that, you know, this is going to be more of a human kind of a growling sound, that's probably what I started doing. I mean, it's hard for me to remember now because it's been 15 years, and I remember going in to do Super Mario Strikers. That was the first one, and there wasn't a lot. I don't remember there being a lot of Bowser in that game, but they still recorded a lot of material. And it turned out I wound up being the Robot Super Team too, and I didn't even know. They took, I think they just sprinkled magic dust on some of the tracks and turned them into Robot Super Team.
Yeah, they filtered it out.
But it went from, it just morphed, you know, without any conscious intention. Went more from a, you know, Mario, how dare you interrupt my family vacation?
Yeah.
You know, Scott Burns kind of humanoid kind of Bowser, amongst others. I mean, you know, the other people who played the character in the cartoons and stuff like that, I mean, you know, they had to be more human. I got to the point where it went to a different place. I'm wondering, I'm looking at my tiny little thing going, oh yeah, you can see my hand. It went to a different place in here. And I really started to notice that it was before 3D World, but then 3D World was where I really started to realize where that's coming from, because I still have a hard time figuring it out.
Mm-hmm.
But with Meowser doing, you know, they said, what are you gonna do? And I don't want him, he can't be a kitty cat, he can't, you know.
Yeah.
so I did the wildcat thing. I thought, you know, a tiger or lion is too big, and besides, I don't think I could do it. But I thought a cat that big is going to be too close to the timbre of Bowser's roaring anyway. So I did wildcat. I thought would be a good contrast. So it was the wow. So I thought, okay, mountain lion-ish, maybe bobcat, because I don't sound as big as a mountain lion.
Sure.
But when I started rolling Bowser in on top of it, they didn't put it together themselves. It was me going and then going over the top at the same time.
So, okay.
Yeah, hold on a second.
So they had both clips going. So it wasn't them piecing it together. It was
no. It was me coming up with it on the fly and then just going. You see that?
Yeah. Like ending with the Bowser.
Yeah. So after 2 hours of that, I could taste blood.
I bet.
That's I'm dead serious. You know, it tastes like you take a real penny, like they used to make them out of copper, like solid copper, and if you put that in your mouth, that copper oxide, that's what blood tastes like when it's in your mouth.
Oh boy. So that's funny, because I always thought, for, you know, that game in specific, I always thought that, you know, I was like, oh, they must have just taken, you know, some a cat and they just overlaid it. So that's funny.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
They, you know, when I asked them, what do you want him to sound like, and they just said, we don't know.
We don't know. So like, I guess when you get in the groove and you're recording some clips for them and they're giving you those, like, this is what's happening here, this is what's happening here, I'm sure they give you like some sort of, you know, like at least a little additional. So how does that even go? Like I'm trying to like wrap my head around that. Like, we want this growl to sound more angry, or we want the growl to sound more
they give me,
sad, or
they, if I'm not going in the direction, that's what a director's for, is to direct you, so if I'm not going in the direction that they think they need for that particular little scene or whatever, they're very good at describing, the situation. Every once in a while, I'll get some not completely finished video that I can see for something that's really complicated, maybe.
Sure.
Actually, I think some of the car stuff in 3D World, I think they had sequences for me to see, because they're like, okay, so watch this. Whoop, yeah, boom, and he's gone. Oh, okay, yeah. Now, do something on that.
Yeah. Like, do you get it?
so yeah, then you're on the spot for it. But for the most part, they'll tell me what's happening in the scene, and then, they actually will be like, he's really pissed, or now he's not happy, he's sad, And people are like, how the hell you do emotion for something like this, But
yeah, no, I got you. Yeah, there it is.
but he does, and a lot of it goes back to theater, man, because you can make yourself sound completely different through physicality in a recording booth.
Mm-hmm.
If you need to sound like you just can't take it anymore, then if you slump like that, even Bowser comes out going. So,
you just gotta get into the mindset of like,
and
sad.
Screwing your face up, and it's all kinds of stuff. Physicality has a lot to do with it, which is why I always tell people to go to your community theater, man. Almost every town in the world has a community theater, or if not that one, the next town does, and it's not far away.
Yeah.
Go and audition for stuff, and learn how it works, man. Learn how to develop a character. It can be a character from a play that's been done 8 million times, but it's going to be different because it's you and not the person you saw in the movie or whatever.
Sure.
So. Yeah, if you want to be an actor, you got to go out and act. And I suggest theater. That's film is
a good suggestion for people to step into it. And like, I think
theater
is a good, theater is a good way too, and for people to just kind of, because if they mess up or something, they kind of have like that. Okay, I need to do this better next time. Otherwise, before it gets like immortalized in like a video or a TV show.
You'll find out real quick whether or not you can take direction without getting your nose all out of shape, and because sometimes it can make you mad, because you're trying your hardest, and some directors all like, "The hell was that?" Why did you don't do that?
Yeah, it's not the business if you don't have tough skin, right?
Yeah, acting is all about making choices, and sometimes it's just not the right choice.
Yeah.
That's all there is to it.
That's funny. So I know you talked about some challenges that you had with Mario in 3D World and whatnot. So would you say that was the most challenge you had as Bowser, or were there other instances where you felt like, oh, that was kind of tough? Like, I know at the end of in Odyssey, for those who played it, Bowser kind of takes on the Mario persona, right? So was there a different direction for that, or?
Yeah, those were some fairly long sessions. Because there was a lot to do. I still haven't finished it, so I have no idea what you're talking about. No, seriously, I don't, because when you're in the booth and they're telling you do this and do that, and this is okay, now you're gonna freaking throw him, or what? Huh?
Yeah.
So you do it, and I started playing Odyssey, and I still think, I get little kids that laugh at me because they're like, "You haven't finished it?"
You haven't finished Odyssey?
I'm like, I've got a lot of stuff.
He's recording the next game. He's busy.
This house is so stupid. Now you can probably hear the air conditioner because it's so loud.
It's not that bad.
Okay, good. Well, it is a shotgun, so hopefully it's canceling some of that.
Yeah.
But anyway, what was the question? Oh, it was all about air conditioning.
You heard exactly. You heard Odyssey. You're like full
Oh,
disclosure.
yeah,
haven't
yeah,
seen
yeah.
it.
The kids.
I was asking about
the kids that laugh at me though. That's where I was.
Yeah.
And it's because I'm like, there's like 1,000 moons, right? And they're like, oh yeah. And I'm going, I have like 40. And they're like, you haven't even hardly done anything. And I was like, whatever, kid, get away from my table. You
just give him a growl at him, and he scares away.
Somebody, this kid's parents here anywhere?
Yeah, that's funny. I guess the big question was, other than what you've done in 3D world, was there anything that really stuck out at you that was truly like that was a challenge, like that was tough to do?
Not really. I mean, you get used to it. So even with different producers or directors in the control room, it's still, I know what to expect.
Mm-hmm.
So it's just a matter of following the direction, because like I said, I don't get a lot of visual stuff and I don't have words to say, but I've just always been good at, listening to what they said. I can try something and they go, yeah, little less of and little more of. One of the directions I got a lot was wetter or drier. So, do that again. That was good. The time was right on it, but do it wetter.
A little wetter, yeah.
Wetter.
You're like, okay, I got you.
Yeah, so it's all a matter of shape. With dry Bowser, people are like, how'd you do that different, or did they just change it? And I go, no, it was different. It was just more open because he's all dry.
Yeah.
He's just a shell. He's just the bones, So instead of kind of really gurgly and growly, it's more of a. So and that's what they start with. It's like, oh, he's just bones. Oh, okay. Well, I should sound dry.
Yeah. And then that's where they got it from. They're like, wait, that makes sense. Maybe that works. That's funny.
Yeah. It's like in theater, you get used to hearing do that again, but better.
Mm-hmm. So to do that again, but yeah, a little take it an extra step.
Do that again, but better.
So I know you kind of, for some of the people who do want to be, voice actors and watching, we gave some good advice so far as, gotta learn how to act, step into theater, and
Classes,
would you say, make yourself marketable, make a reel, make a website. So what would be your biggest piece of advice? You're in the recording booth, you're getting some direction. Like what would be your because it's kind of on you, right? They're relying on you all the time.
But I mean,
stuff, so
there's so much that you can do without even spending any money these days, because there are so many YouTube content creators and stuff that are either in the business or either that or they think they know about the business. But you have to sort of weed them out. For straight work, one of the best guys out there is Bill DeWeese. Mm-hmm. He's in Chicago, and he has so much content on his YouTube channel about setting up studio stuff. You don't have to spend a ton of money. You don't have to have, like a recording booth, in the room. It takes up too much damn space anyway. I used to record. I recorded some audio books in a walk-in closet. It's not unheard of, with the clothes in it, because it makes it even better.
Sure.
So, yeah, do some research, and then if you really want to get into it, I suggest trying to find somebody, because you can do things like we're doing right now for training, and some people are. There's just you really have to do your research, because there's so many people out there that are, voiceover coaches that are not any good. They're just out to make money.
Sure.
And if you can find a good coach, do some stuff with them, tape and ape, if you're interested in commercials, like if you're the kind of person that sits and you're watching TV and you wind up paying as much attention to the commercials because of the voiceover you know, or one that's particularly interesting because of the way the voiceover is or whatever. It's tape that, you know, record that stuff. Go just look them up on YouTube and play them, because most of the time you can find them. iSpot.tv, you know, tons and tons of commercial data. And just imitate it and listen back to yourself. Tape and ape.
Yeah.
You tape it, you ape it, and then you listen to yourself. Monkey see, monkey do. You listen back to yourself, and if you hate it, then chances are it's probably not that good. So fix it.
Yeah.
You know, have other people listen to it. If you're afraid to have other people listening to it, then you're probably not ready to do it.
Yeah, to be proud of it. Yeah,
because
that's some good advice, because, you know, if you're not proud of it, it might be tough to have someone hire you to do it in the first place.
And the thing about demos, since you hit on that, it's like, yeah, you need a demo. You have to have at least what they call a commercial demo, which is usually more straight work. It can be character work that, you know, because a lot of commercials have outright characters.
Sure.
But a commercial demo, and, you know, if you can get another one done and get somebody good to get you a character demo made, because you should have, and they don't need to be more than about a minute long.
Mm-hmm.
You know, my original demo was 3.5 minutes long. It was excruciating. But I wound up as time went by, cutting out the best bits of that and adding in other bits of other things. And
the demo too got you to where you are today, naturally. And
yeah,
put you in the right direction.
I need to update all that stuff. Even my commercial demo is only 3 years old, maybe, but that's too old. And
now your latest demo is just a bunch of, you know, Meowser and everything going through.
No. Especially the commercial one, you know, doing stuff like Wayfair.com, you know, shit like that.
You did the Wayfair commercials?
No, I didn't. No,
okay.
That's on my demo though.
Oh, okay, I got you. Cool.
You can put anything you want.
That's awesome.
Yeah, I do that. You know, people are like, well, what other stuff have you done that we might know? And I go, nothing. Because, you know, sometimes I'm the guy interrupting your playlist on Spotify, telling you about Post-it notes, you know, about, you know, I've recorded all these different ways to use Post-it notes, you know, tip number 25, you know, blah, 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 with your Post-it notes, you know, stick it on your face.
And there's a business in that too, you know, and Mike,
sure.
Mike Pollock was telling me, he goes, because a lot of the time when people come into voice acting, they look for like the sexy, you know, the stylized gigs. He goes, but there's a lot of ads people need, you know.
Sure.
The restaurants need voiceover, Post-it notes need voiceover. There's a lot of business.
Lately I've been doing a series of commercials for, I don't remember where it is, but it's Port City Nissan.
Oh, wow.
And they're using these little cartoon characters. They're not young like the South Park kids, but they sound a lot like South Park. Only they're older guys and have like beards. But they sound like South Park. Well, I don't even record it that way. You know, it's just like going, you know, and 60-month financing too, you know, and then they turn it 60-month financing too. So even though I probably could have done it just by myself, I mean, screw you guys.
Yeah, I'm going home.
So
love South Park. Huge fan.
So yeah, I mean, there's all kinds of weird stuff, you know, and a lot of that local stuff like that doesn't pay a huge amount, but it's work.
It's quantity. Yeah, you gotta get it done.
And people that are interested in doing, you know, quote unquote straight work, Bill DeWeese, his last name is Dewees. Look him up on YouTube, man, and because he is the straight man champion. The dude makes like $250,000 a year sitting in his little booth in his basement every day.
Mm-hmm.
And he records medical stuff, car commercials, just everything. Tons and tons of stuff. He doesn't like doing character work, and he doesn't like doing audiobooks.
There's one thing that you mentioned that I think is really important. This isn't even, in my opinion, this is even for voice acting. This is really, you know, just for any profession you want to get into, is YouTube is such a great tool for
Oh,
educating.
I'm telling you, man.
And I always find myself like when I need to know how to do something or like anything, like, you know, today I've been having, you know, I'm upgrading my computer. I could just Google it and look online and find, you know, some article, or I could just type this video and I could watch along and follow it.
Well, dude,
there's a lot of people.
Even if you Google the subject, it's going to drop YouTube videos
video
right on the top page.
This is how you do it. And you're right, where there's tons and tons of like
tons and tons, man.
Coaches too.
I just built a new PC for me to run my racing sim rig, and I was every day spending hours watching YouTube stuff about processors and you know, graphics cards, and you know, what motherboard should I get, you know, and all these decisions you have to make, because you know, it's a bunch of money when it comes down to it. Except,
Sure.
you know, the most money I spent in that rig was for my graphics card. But that's, if you don't spend money on your graphics card, you might as well not be building a computer for games.
Yeah,
So.
that's true. So, but I know we're kind of catching up on the end. We're a little over time, but I wanted to.
A little over's fine. That's cool.
I know that you know, speaking of YouTube, you know, you have a YouTube as well. So you want to kind of tell the viewers about it? And,
yes, yeah. You should start that off with, boy, sorry about that, because I was all like, I was so gung ho about getting started.
I found you on your YouTube, and I was like, I clicked the video. You were like, I'm the voice of Meowser, and this is what I'm gonna do. And then I was like, oh, what was the last time he posted it? I was like,
it was like 2 months ago.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, God, man, I had all this stuff ordered, and all of it was back ordered, and then they would back order the back orders.
Yeah.
And I still haven't finished building this rig yet. I can drive, but I have to roll it out in front of my living room TV, because I still don't have my triple monitor stand that I ordered, you know, 3 months ago or 2 months ago or whatever it is. I think it's supposed to be here today. So then I can go shopping for monitors, because I still haven't bought monitors, because I was like, I don't have a stand to put them on.
Mm.
So right now
Someone's at the door.
That was my front door, so that's probably the UPS
the package.
bringing
Wow, it's manifesting.
as I spoke about it. Yeah, so yeah, I'm still in the process of getting this thing all built and finished up and junk, and then I'll probably start doing some videos. You can't see them in this. No, you can't. Well, you can see the bottom of one of these lights. These soft boxes that I had from doing their lights. I had them from doing auditions, you know, from doing home auditions. And so I was like, oh, I'm going to need these, especially if I green screen anything. I need a lot of light on that screen. And so I was like, but I get these things out and I'm like, these are so photo studio, and they take up so much freaking room, you know.
Yeah.
And you can get, you know, LED panels that are this big, and you've got brilliant freaking key light and fill, you know, with little bitty panels like this, you know, instead of this giant freaking light things, you know. So I'm in the process, but yeah, I came up with the name, you know, Kenny James from Bowser's Basement. And I was like, yep, I'm going to start just posting games, man. I'm just going to play games, and people can watch or not. And my son's a Twitch streamer, you know, and he's like, man, he goes, sometimes I play 4 hours and there's nobody watching me. And I'm like, yeah, but you know, he streams at 3 o'clock in the morning, you know, after he gets off work or something. I'll get this Twitch notification. It's like, oh, Mega Sloth is streaming live. And I was all like, I ain't watching that.
It's a commitment, you know. That's one of the things where you gotta do it.
So yeah, as far as
you get the good following.
As far as the YouTube thing goes, you know, I'll start doing videos again after I get everything to where I don't have to move it, because that's the biggest pain in the ass in the world. You get your camera where you want it and stuff, get all this junk, and then, oh, well, now we've got to watch regular TV, so I got to push everything off to the side.
Yeah,
and it's,
absolutely.
You know, I put my sim rig as next level racing G or FGT, and you can put casters on it. So I put casters on it, and I'm able to move it around. But if I want to put it, my PC doesn't move. I want to put so the chair doesn't move, so that the camera, my tripod doesn't move. No, nothing moves.
Nothing you wanted. Yeah, exactly. You wanted to,
because,
one-stop shop.
Yeah, because otherwise I might as well just be going, okay, I'm playing video games.
How's it going, guys?
Hey,
yeah.
How's it going? Oh, I need both hands for this. Hold on, and
put it down. Yeah. So you guys heard it here. Make sure to subscribe to Kenny James from Bowser's Basement and turn on your notifications. Yeah, exactly. Turn on your notifications. He'll post when he's ready. He'll post a video when he's ready.
That's right. Hit that like button, and be sure to ring the bell. So you get notified.
Absolutely.
Yeah, it's it'll happen eventually. And like I said, if anybody watches it, they can watch it, because when I play video games, I can get pretty weird. A lot of us do.
Yeah, really into it. So, with that being said, Kenny, is there anything you want to end with? Is there anything you want to plug as the viewer, as we're closing up today's episode?
I've got no. I mean, my Insta is tiny. I am social media lazy. So
it's a lot of work. It's a full-time job, to do all like, hey, I update this and post this and make sure I tweet here, that I have to share this on Facebook.
I need to make sure and post something every day.
Yeah.
Even if it's just a picture of this.
Exactly. Well, with that being said, Kenny, where can people find you? Your Twitter or your
the Instagram is Kenny James Bowser, and spelled all the way out, Kenny James Bowser. And then the Twitter one, I had to shorten it because I didn't allow enough characters. So it's Kenny James Bowser, but without the E.
Ah, okay.
So it's BOWSR. I mean, but if you looked up Kenny James, you would probably find me anyway.
Yeah, exactly. And I'll make sure to put those in the description for you guys to connect with Kenny.
And the YouTube is Kenny James from Bowser's Basement. And what else is out there? Facebook. It's just Kenny James. There's more than one Kenny James, but
if you want to find him, exactly. If you want to find him, you'll find him.
Yeah, it says in the description that I'm the guy that does Bowser.
That's funny. So anyway, thank you so much, Kenny. I appreciate you having me on.
Yeah, I appreciate it.
I look forward to hearing your growling and more upcoming Nintendo games.
Yeah,
and,
they just ported the 3D All-Stars, or the 3 games over on the Switch, which everybody was looking for Galaxy. Now they have it. So
I was actually very excited, not only for Galaxy, but I was also very excited for the port of 3D World coming.
Yeah. I've never actually played 3D World.
Okay.
So
is that a moment where kids go,
yeah,
you've never done what?
They're like, what? And then everybody always is all like, don't they give you all the games?
No, they don't get anything.
They don't. So it's great to see that some of those older titles are finally getting ported over, because people really have been looking for them. They ask me about them all the time. When's Galaxy gonna come over? I'm like,
You're just like, hold on, let me just call Doug Bowser on the phone. Let me ask him what's going on.
That's another PR thing that should have happened when I was living in the Seattle area. He should have had me over for lunch. So
yeah,
it would have been great. Photo op, Bowser meets Bowser.
Exactly. You're like, hey, that's a good idea, good marketing move, right?
I'm telling you, man, the PR people really missed it on that one.
Exactly. That's hysterical. They should step up your game, Nintendo. It's the official voice, not the voice.
Yeah, they don't want me using official, so
no worries. He did it and I did. So we'll call it there, Kenny. Thanks so much. And,
all right, man.
Thanks for having you on. Appreciate it.
Hey, no problem.